Welcome to my channel, everyone. Bitcoin is currently trading at 112,080 US dollar. In this video we are going to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP and Solana. Things remain exciting, so make sure to watch until the end. And if you also want to start trading with cheap taker fees, then I can recommend you the crypto exchange mexc. So more than 100 tokens are tradable without any kind of fees, and those tokens are rotating, means they are switching over the time. So for this cycle we have Sui, Avalanche, ARP, ONDO, Litecoin, so many coins which you can trade without any kind of fees. And for the other coins you have to pay fees, but if you use my referral link, which you can find in the video description, you will save another 20% discount on those low taker fees. So let's talk about Bitcoin. So we had a scenario in mind that we are just going to fill the fair value gap and from there sell off. I can take this one out of the chart. So it looks like to me that we went for the bigger fair value gap. So this right here was the fair value gap. We are currently in that. We closed around about 50% of that fair value gap already. Breaking the $112,657 to the upside would be essential. But for a long trade, I would wait for the 113,400 US dollar. I will show you why, because this here, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. If we get this kind of setup, then I'm ready to jump into a long position for Bitcoin, because we still have the targets from the falling wedge in the past. So this one here in orange, this here was the falling wedge, which broke to the upside. Target 16,770. So I will put you here the price mark so you can see it. And with the head and shoulders formatation, I always take the least bullish target, which is the right shoulder. Put it then here to the breakout point. Target also 117,000 US dollar. If I take the most bullish spreads, for example, for the falling wedge, for example, from the inverted head and shoulders formatation, and I put it to the breakout point, then it's directing me into 119,380 US dollar, where we have a fair value gap. So basically, once we break the 113,400 to the upside for Bitcoin, it would look very positive, with a high chance we should get into the resistance at 117,550 US dollar. If we break it to the upside, then the fair value gap is going to get the next target, 119,380 US dollar, up to 123,277 US dollar. So we still have a scenario right here on the chart where we just get into 117,550 US dollar and sell off from there. That's why I want to take profits once we get at 117,550 US dollar. If we break it to the upside, then I can get back into my position for Bitcoin. So far it looks very good. I can't see any kind of negative aspects. I have to wait for the 110,250 US dollar breaking to the downside to be bearish. Otherwise, I expect higher prices for Bitcoin. So if we now look over Ethereum, for Ethereum we have set 4,256 US dollar. If they break to the downside, bearish. As long as we don't do it, we can expect higher prices. And this green trend line which I had on the chart, it was white a few days back, but since the overall market performance looks bullish to me, I would like to take a trade once we get over 4,365 US dollar. I'm already in trades for some altcoins, so basically if Ethereum gets to that price mark, then my other positions are in good profit, so I don't want to say play a bit more risky, but in the end of the day it's going to be like that. So basically, if I see a 1 hour candle close over $4,365, then I would jump into a trade. Yeah, depending for sure. If the candle closes somewhere here and we did a huge push, then I would actually wait for the retest. But if the candle closes a bit above that, then I don't want to wait for the retest. Then I can jump into the trade, because we have here our fair value gap, and I think we are going to catch it My personal target is not even the upper part of the fair value gap, which is at 4,437 US dollar. Here's the price mark. I would even say 4,487 US dollar is going to be my target. There I want to take some profits out of the trade. If we break it also to the upside, well, 4,725 US dollars is going to be my maximum target. I would say 4,622 US dollars also getting very interesting, where I want to take profits. So basically in that whole area, there I want to scale down at least, because I think we are going to sell off from there. But we have to see what Ethereum is going to do. Maybe it's even going to do a new all-time high. And that's what we have to track in the following days. So if we now look over XRP, then you can see we have set $2.90. If they break to the upside, and I don't care about this trend line right here, this is a downwards trend line. We broke it, for example, here to the upside with a 1 hour candle. But to get there into a long trade, if I don't have any other trades which are in profits, then I have to keep in mind that we can always sell off and I get into losses. If I would have some trades which are very profitable, then I could play a bit more risky. But in this case, here it wasn't long to me. I have told you $2.90. If they break to the upside, then I'm pretty confident that we are going to push. This is not a breakout. This candle was over $2.90, but we sold off so fast within 1 hour. That's why we always have to wait a bit longer. Overall market performance, very good, very bullish. Here was the breakout candle. Here was the retest, long. So I'm currently in a long position for XRP. And the price mark of $2.9283. If we get there with a retest, then I would double up my XRP position. Afterwards, stop loss set to break even, which is somewhere here probably. And then I want to get this kind of move. I have also drew here something where I would have said, okay, if we get to $3 and we form another bullish chart pattern, then we can get far higher prices for XRP. But for now, since I don't see any kind of bullish chart pattern forming, we don't have to. We can still push more up. Or like, for example, here, we get to our retest point, we push up, form a small bull flag. Then I can increase my position size even more for XRP. So if we now look into the overall targets, $3 is a target for XRP. But if we look here, we have a falling wedge, which broke to the upside. I have to adjust the target. So it's going to be here at the price mark of $3.34. And let me take out those price marks. This one also to the side. Inverted head and shoulders formatation. So basically, if we take the targets of the inverted head and shoulders formatation, it's also directing us into $3.1. So let's say $3. If I take the maximum target of the inverted head and shoulders formatation, it's going to be the $3. Now even more than $3.8, we have to adjust it. Yeah, still the same, $3.8. Once we break the $3.8 to the upside, then the target of the falling wedge is going to get in play, in my opinion. And once we break the $3.8 to the upside and $3.40, I would like to increase my position size. And the question is how we are going to break to the upside. So basically, if we get to $3, get a bull flag, break it to the upside, then I can actually jump into a trade again, like increasing my position size, doubling up again. If we afterwards break the $3.8 to the upside and we get rejected to $3.14 and we get the retest at $3.8, then I would like to increase my position size even more. If we get a far bigger breakout and we don't care about retesting the $3.8, but we retest the $3.14, then I would scale up again, also at the $3.40. So I'm using those two price marks to increase my position size. The question is, where are we going to get the retest? And I would just jump into the trade if I see a retest at $3.08 or $3.40. If we get, this is the dream scenario. Here it was long to me. If we get to $2.92, long again, so I double up my position size. If we get another bullish pattern, which we break to the upside, double up again. If I see the $3.08 breaking to the upside, retesting, double up, and if I see afterwards the $3.14 breaking to the upside with a retest, I can double up again. So I have such a huge position size for XRP without risking my initial capital. This is the dream scenario. It happened to me a few times in the past, over the past 6 months. For example, with Cardano, I had this kind of setup with Cardano once, and there I did a 25 to 30x on my initial capital. So if I bet $100 in the beginning, by always scaling up without risking my $100 anymore, I got a 30x. So it was somewhere between 2.5k profits to 3k profits. Yeah, it can happen. Dream scenario. Even if we don't get the dream scenario for XRP, I still think that profitable trades are possible for XRP. So let me just delete this here all, so we can look in the future how XRP is going to develop, most likely tomorrow. And if something interesting is going to happen, then I will also release a second update today. So if we now look over Solana. Solana was the only coin, one of the only coins, for which I don't have any kind of setup which I can trade. I can just guess. So basically we have set $195.32. If they break to the downside, short, but we didn't even touch it. We didn't even were near to it. So basically, what can I expect? With this price movement, I can expect that we are going to see the 221 US dollar, and only if we break this price mark to the upside, I'm ready to get into a long position. Otherwise, I always have to keep in mind that we have to switch into the 4-hour chart. We have to keep in mind that this price development here is a rising wedge at the moment. And yes, we can always get a higher high, like we have seen a few times in the past. But if we don't break this price mark to the upside, if we don't invalidate the rising wedge, and the invalidation would be once we break the green trend line to the upside, then we have to keep in mind that in the future it can actually sell off a lot. That's why I would actually like to wait to invalidate this chart pattern. And just from my feeling, if such a big bearish chart pattern gets invalidated, the push to the upside is going to be most likely very impulsive. So I would say if we break the $221.50 to the upside, target can be 250 US dollar or even 280 US dollar for Solana. So overall market performance looks very good to me. And I'm already in some long positions. Yeah, I missed a couple of long positions. Why? Because I have slept. And the breakouts happened in the middle of the night between 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. It is okay for me because we always get new opportunities. I couldn't go into long positions for the first breakouts where we got retests, like for example for Dogecoin. So basically, if I put this price mark to the side, here was a breakout, here was the retest. Let's switch into the 1-hour chart. So the breakout happened at midnight for me, and the retest happened at 2 a.m. my time. Then the next breakout happened, inclusively a retest at 6 a.m. So basically this I can't trade. For render, also breakout 6 a.m. To be honest, I wouldn't, even if I would have been awake, I wouldn't have taken the trade for render because of this fair value gap. But in the end of the day, we can look over other coins. Tau, for example, didn't have any kind of fair value gaps. We broke the $330 to the upside, retested it, target 343 US dollar, and now we are at this price mark. So basically couldn't take the first movement to the upside as a trade, but if we are patient and we get another breakout, then I can take my trade up here and can still finish the day hopefully profitable. So with that said, we see each other in the Sui, Avalanche, HBAR and Dogecoin update.